June 10th, 323 BC. Babylon. The fever burns hot enough to melt an empire. In our history, the sun sets on Alexander the Great tonight. He dies, and his world fractures into chaos. But history is fragile. A single breath can change the fate of nations. In this timeline, the fever breaks. Alexander wakes up, and the world holds its breath. Because the conquering hasn't ended, it has barely begun. Recovery takes months. But Alexander's grief for his lover Hephaestion and his own near-death experience hardens him. He becomes colder, more divine. He summons his generals to read the Hypomnemata, his personal journals and military orders. In reality, these plans were discarded after his death as madness. But here, they are law. His first target is not a kingdom, but a coastline, Arabia. Admiral Nearchus leads the fleet. The goal isn't just territory, it is monopoly. By seizing the Arabian coast, Alexander strangles the spice trade at its source. Within 2 years, the immense wealth of the incense trade flows into Babylon. The empire's coffers, once draining, are now overflowing. Alexander now has the gold to fund the greatest war machine history has ever seen. 321 BC. The Hypomnemata demanded a fleet of 1,000 ships, larger than triremes. The cedars of Lebanon are felled. The shipyards of Phoenicia burn fires day and night. The target is the superpower of the Western Mediterranean, Carthage. Alexander knows how to kill a sea power. He did it at Tyre. But Carthage is different. They rule the waves. The naval war is brutal. But Alexander possesses the resources of Greece, Egypt, Persia, and India. It is a war of attrition that Carthage cannot win. When the Macedonians land in North Africa, the end is swift. The Carthaginians rely on mercenaries. Alexander commands veterans who believe he is the son of Zeus. By 317 BC, the Mediterranean has become a Macedonian lake. But one obstacle remains: a rising republic on the Italian peninsula. Rough, militaristic, stubborn. Rome. Historians have long debated this matchup. The immovable object of the Macedonian Phalanx versus the flexible Roman maniple. The Romans of this era are fierce, fighting the Samnite Wars. They are agile. They exploit the gaps in the Phalanx. In the hills of Campania, Alexander faces his first true tactical crisis since Gaugamela. But Alexander brings something the Romans have never seen: the tank of the ancient world, Indian war elephants. Rome fights with the ferocity of a wolf, but they are broken by the weight of a lion. The city burns. Alexander does not offer them citizenship as he did the Persians. He breaks them. The Roman Republic is strangled in its cradle. Latin becomes a footnote. The future of Europe is Greek. 310 BC. Alexander is 46 years old. He rules an empire that spans from Gibraltar to the Himalayas. Babylon is the center of the world. He implements his policy of homonoia, a unity of minds. He forces mass intermarriage between Europeans and Asians. He moves entire populations like pieces on a board. A new culture emerges: Hellenistic absolutism. It is a golden age of science and trade, fueled by the absence of borders. But the king himself, he is consumed by paranoia. He has executed half his general staff. He demands to be worshipped not as a king, but as a living god. Alexander eventually dies, perhaps at 60, perhaps 70. But mortality is undefeated. When he dies, the vacuum is catastrophic. The resulting civil wars don't just last decades, they last centuries. Without Rome to stabilize the West, Europe remains tribal. Without a successor, the East fractures. The universal state was a dream that could only live in the mind of one man. Alexander conquered the world, only to prove that the world cannot be owned. Empire is a ghost that haunts the map, and in the end, the ghost always fades.